Robert Rauschenberg, who was born on October 22, 1925, stands as one of the most influential American artists of the 20th century, embodying the intricate relationship between art and sexual identity of his era. Hailing from Port Arthur, Texas, Rauschenberg began his formal art studies after serving in the U.S. Navy during World War II. In 1950, he married Susan Weil, and the following year, they welcomed a son, Christopher. Initially exhibiting with the abstract expressionists, Rauschenberg soon gravitated toward a new avant-garde circle centered around composer John Cage and choreographer Merce Cunningham. Contrasting the abstract expressionists' emphasis on intuitive, emotional expression and heteronormative social norms, Cage's circle was more intellectually driven and less bound by traditional masculinity. Rauschenberg developed profound personal and professional relationships within this group with fellow artists Cy Twombly and Jasper Johns. Though he acknowledged his homosexuality more openly than Twombly or Johns, all three artists often resisted analyses that emphasized their sexual identities, a stark contrast to later artists like Andy Warhol and David Hockney, who emerged in the more permissive 1960s. During his relationship with Twombly, Rauschenberg's art began challenging the expressive premises of abstract expressionism. In 1951, he gained notoriety for his series of white paintings, monochromatic canvases that stripped away traditional content. Artist Alan Caprow noted, in the context of abstract expressionist noise and gesture, they suddenly brought one face to face with a numbing, devastating silence. Perhaps even more confrontational was his 1953 work Erased de Kooning drawing, where Rauschenberg meticulously erased a drawing by Willem de Kooning, one of the leading figures of abstract expressionism. Art historian Jonathan Katz interpreted these acts of erasure and silence as reflections of the secrecy imposed on homosexuals at the time, suggesting that Rauschenberg's awareness of societal restrictions on self-expression deeply informed his artistic approach. Around 1953, his art shifted from refusing self-expression to overwhelming viewers with a cacophony of visual languages. The subsequent years, during which Rauschenberg and Johns were partners, were pivotal. Together, they steered the American avant-garde away from abstract expressionism toward what would become pop art. During this period, Rauschenberg became renowned for his combines, innovative works that fused painting and sculpture using found objects, photographs, text, and abstract marks. One of his most iconic combines is Bed in 1955, which features spattered paint and scrawled pencil marks on an actual quilt and pillow. This collision of gestural abstraction with domestic textiles creates a powerful commentary on gender roles and sexual identity. While elements within the combines can be interpreted as personal references, such implications were subtle and often overlooked by contemporary critics. Following the dissolution of his relationship with Johns in 1961, Rauschenberg transitioned toward collaborative and mechanical methods of image production, such as silkscreen printing, which resisted personal or biographical readings. Throughout the 1960s and beyond, he continued to collaborate in performance and dance. In later years, he initiated international projects like the Rauschenberg Overseas Culture Interchange to promote cultural exchange and human rights. Despite his ongoing contributions, many critics regard his early work as the most impactful. In a 1997 review for The Nation, Arthur Danto mourned the absence of human investiture in Rauschenberg's later pieces, attributing this shift to the end of his intense engagements with figures like Cage, Cunningham, Johns, and Twombly. If this assessment holds, both the groundbreaking innovations of his early career and the perceived detachment of his later works reflect Rauschenberg's lifelong negotiation of personal identity within the evolving landscape of modern art. Thank you for listening. For more LGBTQ+ history, please subscribe to this channel.